What is it that is stopping you from letting love in? Why are you so afraid to let your walls down? Why is it so scary to love and be loved? Why do we fear letting love in? We put up walls of protection to keep us safe, but are they really keeping us safe, or are they keeping us isolated? It is so important to let love into our lives, because love is that magic potion. Love is the only thing that makes the world go round. So why are we so afraid of it? My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach. I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse, and I also offer twin flame and spiritual guidance. These walls of protection are not protecting us. They're harming us. We think, if I don't let somebody in, this doesn't have to be romantic. This can be friendships or otherwise, abundance. If I don't let things into my life, I can't get hurt. If I don't let my walls down, the past can't repeat itself. But I've discovered this the hard way, is that when we keep those walls up, we turn cold, we turn bitter, and the image of Scrooge comes into my head. What happened to Scrooge? He isolated, he was broken, and he remained broken because he turned against the world, because he turned against love. And that's what we do when we've had traumatic pasts. And that's where it stems from. Not only does it stem from a wounded inner child, it also stems from our past relationship experiences. And if you're like me, you've had many toxic ones, which have done terrible damage to your heart. I was going to say irreparable, but it is actually repairable. And that's what we need to do. We need to repair that damage around our heart so that we're strong enough to let love in again. And this is the thing. We think those walls of protection are making us strong, but they're actually making us weak. That's the weird part. We think, I'm safe in my little bubble. No one can penetrate. No one can get in. So I'm safe here. This is what keeps me strong. But the more we turn our backs on love, the weaker we become. And that's what I noticed myself, a few months ago. It was just like, I got so afraid, and I didn't even realize I was afraid to be loved. And that was it. I discovered I was afraid to be loved. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, what? It's the one thing I've always wanted because I've never had it. Why am I afraid of it? I'm afraid of it because it's got the potential to hurt me. And that's the thing. If we let people love us, we're giving, there was this weird meme there one day. It's like, love is this thing where you're giving somebody the ability to break you, but trusting them that you don't. That's fucked up. That's really weird. We're giving somebody our vulnerability and our whole selves on a plate, giving them, and they have a way of hurting us. They have a way of shattering us. But we have to have faith enough, not only in them, but in ourselves, to be, I suppose, to hope or to believe that it's going to work out. And, it got so bad for me. Obviously, any of you going through an awakening journey are going to have experienced an awful lot of isolation. You're going to have had to you would have had to have walked away from a lot of people, friendship, family members, toxic relationship dynamics, even jobs. And this triggers the abandonment wound over and over and over and over and over again. That rejection wound gets triggered. And it's so weird, even if you walk away from somebody, or if you choose your health over a family dynamic or a work dynamic, you're still, you're in your power and you're walking away from these things. But your inner child's rejection wound is going to flare up. And it's going to be like, oh my God, everyone leaves, I'm on my own again. And that's what it feels like. It feels like when we go into this isolation mode, it's like, what is wrong with me? Why does no one love me? Why? And even though you had to walk away from these toxic relationships, you're still, that woundedness within you is still kind of going, why me? And because of that, we shield up. We hide ourselves behind this barrier, the steel fucking wall. And it's like, I'm not letting anybody in again. I'm not letting anybody in again. And, that worked for me for a while because I was still able to give love. But it actually got to the stage where I was closing up so much. I described it as that, when Medusa turns into stone, it's like gradual. So the way I was is like half my heart was stone because I wasn't letting anything in. and half of it was open, so I was letting love out. But that stone started to seep across, and I could feel that. I was like, oh my God, what's wrong? Like, what's going on here? And it got to the stage where I was so close to closing completely that I wouldn't have been able to give love. You know, and love is the one thing in this world that has magic powers. It really does. And it has the power to make you stronger. And it was only when I discovered that I actually started letting friends into my life properly. You know, I was never one to ask for help. I was always the helpy. And like, you know, even with my friends, it was like, I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. And I wasn't opening myself up to them. And that was making me more isolated. It was making me turn cold. It was like, you know, I was getting so fearful of letting anyone in that it was like, no, you know, I'm fine. And so like, you know, my lack of being able to ask for help turned into this kind of rigidness. It was like, you know, I can do this on my own, but there was these unconscious wounds bubbling under the surface. That loneliness, that resentment, that fear, you know, everything stemming up from my past. And then that's when I realized I was actually afraid to let love in. And I've mentioned this over and over again. These walls are not protecting us. These walls are making us weaker, because if we don't allow love into our lives, it actually depletes us. You know, I don't know what it is with love, even if it's just self-love. We thrive better with love. We thrive better when we're supported and in community. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm all for independence. I'm an advocate for independence. Do you know what I mean? But, and I've said this in videos before, one of the things that really triggered me, one of those phrases that really triggered me, was humans aren't supposed to be on their own. And I'm like, yes, we are. We're supposed to do it. We're independent. We're fine. And it was just like, oh, and it kept triggering me. And obviously it was triggering me because I miss people. Do you know what I mean? I missed having people in my life. You know, I love sharing happy. I'm weirder when I'm around the right people because it brings out the best in me. You know, and why are we preventing ourselves from feeling that kind of energy? Because when you do it right, you know, like when I was in the depths of that pain, that isolation, that turning to stone energy, I'd forgotten what it was like to share happy. And, you know, I was kind of juggling with the whole thing. It's like, is it worth letting people in again when I could potentially get hurt? Or will I stay here where it's safe? It's not fucking safe. It's not. It was detrimental. It was getting worse. I was getting more unhappy and I was getting lonely. Like, I was never lonely. I love being on my own. But because I wasn't letting even friendship in, I was starting to really feel that loneliness, feel like that I was isolated. And in starting to let people in again, it's after making me so much stronger. It really is. It makes me feel, it's just a warm, fuzzy feeling, you know, it makes me see life differently again. It makes me believe in myself more. And it makes me less fearful to let romantic love in. Now that I've let friendships in again, and I feel stronger because of it. You know, so it really it opened my mind to the fact that we're not actually keeping ourselves safe when we think we are. We're actually preventing that love from coming in. And there's a few things when our heart chakra is blocked. There is a few things that we will get, you know, symptom-wise. You might get some chest pains or palpitations, but for me, especially, the higher heart chakra is the shoulder blades. You know, I'm like, you know, I was healing because when I was in the depths of opening my heart chakra, that pain, right, it was really bad, and it was right in the center of my two shoulder blades. Then it spread to all across my upper back, and then it moved to just under the right shoulder blade, and that was there for months. It was actually there for months. And it's gone now. It's not there anymore. And, you know, every day I felt it. I was like, oh my God, what part of my heart do I fucking still need to heal? And now that pain is gone completely. It's showing me that my heart is more open. Now, don't get me wrong, I had a massive trigger yesterday. So I'm still working on my heart blocks. And it's an everyday process. But actually, I didn't even realize. Like, I'm like this trap door. Every time I heal a part of my heart chakra, it's just like, open, yay, full of love, open for love, yay, yay, yay. And then all of a sudden I get a trigger. It's like, no, there's nothing coming back in here. And it was only because I got a bit of coaching myself yesterday that I was just like, oh God, whoops, I have more blocks to heal. And I realized that I was actually after closing up again. Now it was different. That's the difference. Like when I was really closed off, it was a stone wall. But then it was actually a steel fucking wall. It was like, you're not getting in here. And now it's like a mesh door. Oh shit, my cat. I didn't know the door was open. Yeah, so it is getting better, but we really do need to work on that. So if you're getting any physical symptoms, upper back symptoms, upper chest symptoms, or anything like that, that's stuff to work on. Heart chakra meditation can be very beneficial in this area. But it's going within. It's asking yourself what you're afraid of. But it's about trusting. Sorry, my cat is going. Sorry. Anyway, so it's about trusting yourself. You know what I mean? When we don't let love in, we're not trusting ourselves. We're after going through an awful lot of healing. And we're actually getting so much stronger than we ever were. So in letting love in again, we're actually allowing ourselves to trust and love ourselves. Because if we don't trust other people, it means we don't trust ourselves. You know, like, don't get me wrong. Obviously, I used to attract an awful lot of narcissists. So that was a big fear of mine. It was like, I don't want to attract narcissists again. And it was scary for me to open up again. But I've gotten so strong now that I'm able to attract in high vibrational energy. So that's self-trust, knowing that every bit of healing that I've done has been beneficial and it has made me stronger. The past can't repeat itself because we've evolved into such a transformed version of ourselves. You know what I mean? We attracted pain, we attracted abuse, we attracted trauma from a low vibration energy, from an unhealed, wounded heart chakra. Whereas now we're healing. We've gained strength, we've gained power. So we can only attract high vibrational love into our lives now anyway. So the past cannot repeat itself, and it won't repeat itself. And that's the thing. We have to have that trust in ourselves, and it is safe. It really is. You know, the thing is, as I said, I was so afraid to even let friends properly into my life. But even just speaking with my friends now, it just fills me with such joy. My heart just burst open. It's such an amazing feeling. And you know, that's, as I said, you get to share happy. You know what I mean? It's all well and good being happy on your own. But the way you get to experience happy when you're with your friends or with a loved one it's amazing. Because it's double the fucking happy. They're happy for you, you're happy for them, we're all happy together. It's just happy, 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 happy. And like, isn't that what we want? And that's what I love so much about having people in my life, is that you get to literally share abundance. You get to share all that joy, and that magnetizes or maximizes that joy. You know what I mean? So we're really here. That's what we're here for. Our purpose on life, or on earth, is to love and be loved. The most important thing we can do is love ourselves and everything around us. And that's really what it is all about. So what is it that makes us so afraid? Obviously it is our past. But what is it we can do to overcome that fear? Well, the only way out of fear is through it. So, you know, take the leap of faith. Just rip off the Band-Aid and just go for it is really all I can say when it comes to friends or romance. Just go for it. And what is it, you know, take a leap and the universe will throw you a net, so you're safe anyway. But the way I see it is, take a leap because your wings are going to sprout and you're going to fly. That's why we have upper back pain, is because we're getting our wings. Do you know what I mean? So that's really it. We need to start trusting ourselves, trusting that we've done so much of the work that we actually have, we cannot repeat the past. Knowing that we're actually safer when we are loved or allow ourselves to be loved than we are trying to protect ourselves. And that's a fact. Those walls, I hate even calling them walls of protection, because they're not fucking protecting us. they're preventing us. They're preventing us from truly living our lives. They're preventing us from truly loving ourselves and our lives and the people around us. So they're actually not walls of protection at all, they're walls of prevention. And I'm going to rename them that, because fuck that shit. They're not protecting us. They're not. They're actually detrimental, because the thoughts of living a life without love or without being able to give love is scary. That really frightened me. Because my whole objective of life, my whole purpose of life is to give love and to help people. That's it. Like, so if I was going to allow myself to completely close off, what would be my purpose on this planet? What would even be the point of existing? Love is our reason for existing. It really is. So we need to start letting love in. It's safe to be loved. It's safe to love. And trust that you've done the work. You've done that healing required. You can only attract in high vibrational love now. That's all. The past cannot repeat itself. So trust yourself and trust in love. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you would like help in your journey, please book me for a discovery call today, and I'd love nothing more than to help you on your path.